Welcome to the Thought for Today with Monica Kincaid. Today's thought asks the question, who is your vine? The grapevine is a highly productive plant capable of yielding a large quantity of grapes from a single vine. In the Old Testament, the vine and its grapes were often used symbolically to represent Israel's fruitfulness. However, Israel's disobedience and failure to wholeheartedly love God led to the vine being seen as a symbol of disappointment. Despite professing, love for God and are willing to obey Him, Israel, as you know, often failed God by worshiping false idols and intermarrying with foreign women. When Jesus appears on the scene in the flesh, John chapter 15 opens by saying, I am the true grapevine, and my Father is the gardener. All the listeners were familiar with the law. They could easily grasp Jesus' reference to the vine, as vineyards, of course, were abundant during this time. By stating that he was the true vine, Jesus may have intended for them to recall Jeremiah 2:21, which likened them to corrupt wild vine. When Jesus refers to himself as the true vine, he is trying to convey that he is the real deal. He's the real source of nourishment and strength and salvation, provision and life. Jesus is here proclaiming that there is no need for individuals to be their own vine. Many of us have become so accustomed to controlling our own destinies and making our own decisions and pursuing our own desires only to find disappointment. There is no longer a sense or a necessity to make things happen. Why? Because Jesus, the true vine, y'all, is here. When we look at verse 5, Jesus continues by saying, yes, I am the vine, and you are the branches. Those who remain in me and I in them will produce much fruit, for apart from me, you can do nothing. Jesus is stressing the point that you and I no longer are the vine. Jesus is saying that he is the vine. You and I are the branches. This is our relationship, y'all. Those branches, those disciples, and those followers who remain in Jesus are fruitful branches. We have now been united to Christ just as branches are connected to the vine. Jesus is the only one who can make us fruitful. Without Christ, none of us possess the ability to produce good fruit. There is a peace, y'all, that comes from abiding or remaining in Jesus. Today's thought is meant to prompt self-examination and address the question, who is your vine? Upon careful consideration, we realize that without being connected to Jesus, y'all, we are left feeling empty and hopeless and unproductive, ultimately resulting in our own destruction. However, those of us who abide in Christ are like the branches attached to the true vine. We thrive, we bear fruit, and we hold on to the promise of heaven. Therefore, let us always remember that true victory lies not in being the vine ourselves, but in staying firmly connected to the true vine, which is Jesus. May God's blessings overflow you as you surrender your life to the true vine. Until next time.